Hi, how y'all doing today? So, we're going to talk about customer service, and I'm going to lead with a story. You know, last year in April, my wife and I went to Verizon Fios instead of Time Warner Cable. And it was just a comedy of errors almost for a month trying to get services in the house. Because they wanted me to get everything at the same time. We were having trouble with the phone line, which turned out to be a different type of snafu. Anyway, one of the gripes that I had at the time was I get Verizon Fios and I'm supposed to get 50 megabytes of speed up and download, and I wasn't coming close to 50. And it wasn't until someone else had to come to fix the first problem that the first guys messed up and couldn't fix, where the guy told me that if you're using a card, a wireless card instead of the Ethernet cord, you're not going to get the same speed. And no one else had ever told me that. And so I mentioned that in the video because I'd been with Time Warner since 1975, so I had no clue about any of this other stuff. And, you know, a couple times people came on the video, which is actually my most viewed video ever. I mean, you know, I don't even know why people are still watching it, but they are. Anyway, a few people said, well, how did you not know that? To which I said, why would I know that? I was with a different type of service for, you know, about 40 years. It was never anything that had come up, so I never had to worry about it. Anyway, I've had two people who basically wanted to blame me because customer service did not tell me stuff. And both times, this happened again last week, both times I asked them, okay, let me ask you a question. I'm in healthcare, so if you come to the hospital and I don't tell you what's wrong with you, is it your fault or is it my fault? And by the way, and I said this to the second guy who said that anytime you do anything, you're supposed to investigate it and know everything about it before you do it. I said, okay, so you come to the emergency room and you're sick and you might be dying. Did you research that first before you came to the hospital? Because if you didn't, then doesn't that make you stupider than me because we have more health issues than I'm ever going to have in trying to get my internet speed? To which he never replied. And this is one of those kind of things where I have started to realize that we tolerate a lot of bad customer service. I'm not one of those people. You know, when I was over my departments in hospitals, I was very big on customer service. I understood that people don't want to come to the hospital. No one wants to come to the hospital, but you have to come. You know, maybe you're coming because you're in an area where you can't go to an outside lab to get lab services, or you might need to come to get an x-ray because you can't go outside for that. You're going to come to the hospital, you know, in some places if you need certain types of surgery. Obviously, if you need inpatient, you're going to have it in the hospital. No one really wants to come to a hospital. So you provide great service up front. Also, we have probably maybe 10 to 15% of the people who end up coming to a hospital don't have insurance. Now, the way that I tried to handle it is I tried to educate the staff, the registration staff, that whenever someone came in who didn't have insurance, and you know that because you're doing registration and so you know you're talking to people, if they didn't have insurance, make sure that they know that we have a program that they can put in for charity care. Charity care could either write off the entire thing, or the way we had it set up, you could probably get 20, 40, 60, 80% off of your bill to help you pay. You know, because hospital bills can be steep. Now, I've never worked for a hospital. Okay, let me rephrase that. Where I've been in charge, I've never worked for a hospital that has had really, really high bills. But there are hospitals that have, you know, $1 million bills. And if you're self-pay, you're in trouble. But we always had that. We always had a placard on every registration person's desk where it said, if you're self-pay, you can get charity care, in case the people forgot to mention it. We also had these big things on the wall. Said, self-pay, ask about charity care. So in other words, we had stuff set up. Whenever someone would call in, if they got a bill and said, okay, I don't know how to pay this, the people said, oh, well, you know, we have a charity care program. They also had a program where, you know, we would set it up so you can make payment arrangements. But we talked about charity care. Yes, you have to go through some gesticulations because that's just law. You have to find out, one, if the people actually qualify for Medicaid, in which case that would take care of the whole bill, and other bills, you don't have to worry about it. But you have to eliminate people from that first, and then you have your own qualifications based on income, how many family members, whatever. But you still had those out there. And we were always very generous with working with people. So if you had the hospital bill and you had no insurance, how upset would you be if I sent you the collection and then you find out, well, you know, the hospital had this plan where you could have probably qualified for charity care? You're going to be pretty mad because you know what? You can go back to the hospital and try. Some hospitals, once it goes to collection, you're off the books. You can't do it. It's too late. Some others will still maybe let you do it. We always let people still do it. And if they qualified, fine. But you know what? It's still on your credit report because you didn't call us during that time period. We gave you 120 days. That's 4 months. We sent you a bill every 30 days. So you have to take some kind of responsibility for yourself in calling. And that's always something I tell people. If you have an obligation, if there's something out there, call. You might be able to negotiate something, but at least try to call something. Bad stuff doesn't go away just because you ignore it. It just doesn't. But still, let's get to this customer service thing. Last week, I'm a little irked on this one here. I've been trying to get all of my websites to be mobile friendly, but mobile friendly speed. Every website I have, every blog I have is mobile friendly. I know that because I went to the Google page where you can test mobile friendliness, and Google loves me there. But when it comes to speed, something I had never thought about, I didn't have any of my sites that worked with mobile speed. They were all poor. So I've been doing a lot of coding and stuff because I don't just do leadership and I don't just do healthcare. I created all my websites. Blogs, I started with a template, but I tinker here and there. So I do all the coding, and I'm not afraid to change things up. So I've been doing a lot of work, and on a couple of the websites I had some issues. So I contacted the host because your research said maybe it's your hosting package. And this guy tells me, well, you're on an old package from 2006. If you upgrade to the new package, that will increase your speed. It will increase your speed. There was no, it might increase your speed. It will increase your speed. I asked a bunch of questions. This is an area that I knew. I asked a bunch of questions. Got them all answered. Let's do this thing. Guy says it'll take 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days, I go checking my sites. Speed has not improved. So I contact them and I say, hey, my speed hasn't improved. They send me a link to the Google mobile thing and says, well, look at this. This will tell you what's wrong. To which I replied, I know about that. That's the reason I've been trying to work these things out in the first place. Now I'm irked because customer service told me this other thing was going to work and it didn't. Now, it did do something that's called compression, but it didn't speed anything up because of other issues on the website. Yeah. Am I irked? Yes, because I did try. So in essence, I got bad customer service. So when they sent me that survey, you know that they didn't get any 5 stars. Well, okay, they did get 1 5-star, which was they were nice and courteous. I will say that. They were very nice. They're always very nice. But they gave me bad advice. And that's irksome. Y'all tell me, how many times have you talked to a customer service in any place and gotten bad information? We'll just go with that. Or sometimes maybe you get someone who treats you rude on the phone and you didn't start it. Because a lot of times, you got to admit, folks start that stuff and then they get mad at customer service because they react in the same way. Which they're not supposed to do, but humans are humans. So that's my thing. Do you tolerate a lot of bad customer service? And do you expect to tolerate or to get bad customer service to the extent that if there's something and someone says, well, I contacted customer service and it didn't work, you're going to chew them out and say, well, why didn't you know that? You should have always known that. We always need to remember, we don't know everything about everything. Nobody knows everything about everything. So I know my healthcare, I know my leadership, I know my social media, I know my blogging, I know my writing. I know nothing about cars. So whenever I have to have service on my car, you know what? Whatever they say, I say, I have no idea what you just said. Just fix it. I expect that because I don't know anything about cars. There's a lot of things I don't know about, but I will ask certain questions. And you just hope that people are going to give you the right answers. You hope that they're going to be nice to you. You hope that they're not going to take advantage of you. And there you go. And if they do, then you need to contact someone like I did, like I said, I didn't like the fact that I had to upgrade to this new package and I didn't really get what I was told I was going to get. So I told them that. Of course, the thing is, you don't go backwards, so I can't get my plan back from 2006 because it was one of those plans where they were only having a few people who were still on it because everyone else had upgraded, which was something else I didn't know. I had always assumed that as time went on, they would just automatically do these upgrades to the service. And then they didn't do that. And then I thought about it and said, well, geez, you know what? Truthfully, Time Warner was charging me this real high dollar amount at one point. So I called them and said, hey, what about this amount? And then they were able to drop it like $75. Same with Verizon this year. I called about something else, and next thing you know, I'm getting a discount on something. No, they won't tell you if they don't have to. Same with insurance companies. So let me know your thoughts. Is it right for us to complain about bad customer service? Is it right for us to expect that customer service is going to tell us stuff that we may not think about asking? Or do you just say, you know what, customer service is doing customer service stuff. We shouldn't expect anything from any of those people because they're low paid and they don't care. Which, if you think that way, if you have a job, quit your job because you're never going to be any good at it. Because if you don't expect better stuff from other people, then you're not going to expect better stuff from yourself. Yeah, I said it. Now, let me know your thoughts. I'm Mitch Mitchell. I hope you have a wonderful day.